Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Renault Master Camper Conversion. In this episode I'm going to be doing earth bonding for the AC system, and I'm going to start by putting an earth to the chassis. Now you're supposed to use high flex cable, but I couldn't find any for the earth colour for some reason, so I just used a negative black 10mm squared, which is the biggest earth cable in my system, which is for the inverter, and I've just put some heat shrink on it. But it gives it an extra layer of insulation, so it does no harm. I've already put my lug on the cable, which is an M6 10mm squared lug, obviously 10mm, and I have a ground point already on the van, which is an M6 bolt. So I'm going to ground it to that, and I'm going to show you where it is. So at the back of the van, just inside there is the earth point, so it's a pretty handy position for me, and it's accessible, so it can be checked at a later date for tightness. I'm going to get that on there now. I don't have a toothed washer, so I'm going to have to get one of them, but for now I can get the cable in there and run to where I need to run it, and I'll put a tooth washer on there tomorrow. It just come with the bolt on there already. I've taken it off, so it's been spray painted because when they sprayed the van, but the connection is not spray painted, and then the connection in there is good to go. So I'm going to get this clamped on, and then I can run the cable, which will be running through here and coming out over here somewhere. My earth is now fixed to the van. And one thing to note is you must earth your AC system at a different point from your DC system, and it needs to be at least 30 centimeters away. I've got about a meter away. My this cable here is a meter, so my ground for my DC is behind there, and then my earth is over there. So there are at least double, it's recommended, 60 centimeters. So now I'm going to get the earth block on here and then sit it the best position it sits, and then I can finally earth my inverter, and then we'll move on with the rest of the system and the relay. Now I have a consumer unit big enough to fit in my relay, so I should have done this before when I done the inverter, but I had a box that was 5-way. It's just a normal box, but I just took these out and then I put this in, and then this wouldn't fit, it was just slightly bigger, so I had to get a bigger box. I just got an empty box, used the RCD, this and this. So yeah, it just has a buzz bar connecting the lives. The neutral goes to the neutral bar. So I'm going to start wiring this all up now, and then I'll show you how this relay is wired up, so we can get a neutral earth bond when it's switched on. Okay, so I've done as much wiring as I can in the house, so I'll explain it to you. The cable from the electric hookup comes in here and wires into the RCD. Now I should have done this before I fitted the inverter, but I didn't have this unit, and I needed to get the inverter running so I could run a dehumidifier. Obviously RCD protection, and then we come into the neutral, which goes to the neutral bar, and then we have a live buzz bar here in between. This brown is protected by an insulation, and then obviously we have our neutral coming down into here, feeding this. I could have just looped it over, but I thought I'd just do that because I had the cable anyway. Okay, so this now will feed the inverter, so we've got double hole isolator on our inverter. Now the inverter cables aren't here because I haven't mounted it yet, but they will come in here. So what we need to do is we run these to the relay. This one will need to come off because I need to run a cable now from my main consumer unit to here, and it goes in, the neutral goes into 5, the bottom one, and then the earth goes into 1 here. So that means that when we turn it on, it bonds the earth and neutral, as it should have, to stop getting a fault on the sockets. Now you can get another unit called a contactor, which I think I would have preferred to fit, but the wiring diagram I have shows a relay, but the contactor works the same, apart from the contactor doesn't stick out like this relay, so you don't have to punch out the holes. I'll show you why I don't like it, because it doesn't sit very, it's just a big gap around it, and I probably could have cut these out a bit better, but that's just the way it is. It just looks a bit silly really. It's not really hidden, so I don't like it because of that, but I've already got it, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go and mount this in the van now, and then I can run a cable from the other consumer unit to this one, which will feed the relay, and then I can wire this to my inverter, and I can wire my electric hookup to here. And then we will have a properly earthed system. Now when the earths come in, they'll just bond to this bar, and then I'll earth this to my earth block, and I will show you the earth block in a minute when I mount this. So I decided the feed cable is going to come through the back, as well as the live and the earth for this. So I screwed it on the wall, marked where the back was, and then I used a whole core. I used the whole core without the centering piece. That's why I've slipped off a little bit there. It's no problem, it's behind the unit. The reason I've done that is because there was possibly cables behind here, and the centerpiece goes through the wood first. If you know what you're doing, you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't want that to hit a cable, so I basically went through here slowly until it was nearly through, and then I just moved the drill up a little bit, down a bit, just to get the size and pushed it out. That way I know I wouldn't hit any cables if there was, but there wasn't anyway, so that's fine. So I redirected this cable. It was coming out down here, so I put it there. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, how the consumer unit sit, so I just put it through there. It's a bit tricky. I managed to do it without taking the board off, so I just pulled it back and I put my arm down there. I can unscrew this. I haven't properly screwed this board back, so I just unscrewed that, which gave me a little bit more arm room in there. But as you can see, I've got it done. And then I've run this earth and neutral cable here to this unit. So now I can get this consumer unit back on, wire these all up, and then the final cable will drop out the bottom here and then run to this unit here. I don't need to hide it behind any boards because it's sort of out here anyway, so it's going to sort of drop down here, go around here, around there, and I'll just drop it down next to this earth block. So I'm going to get that done, and then I will show you how it looks. Just wanted to show you one thing before I fit this unit, and with this cable here, you just want to sort of score it about halfway through. You don't want to try and go all the way through. Once you get through, you can just bend it, and you can see it's tearing. It's hard to do it one hand, but you know, if I just fucking bend it, there we go, and then I can just pull it off. I can do it one-handed, I think. So the reason you do that is because you don't want to nick these single cores, because again, when it bends, that insulation will split all the way around, and you don't want these single cores near each other with no insulation on them. So be really careful not to do that. But that one's ready, so I'm going to get this unit on now. So my unit is now fitted. My earth has gone onto here. I used 4mm for this because I had the single core cables, and one was yellow and the other one was black. Could have been blue, but we know what it is. So by it being black, it makes it stand out, so it's more obvious of what it is anyway. So that's fine as it is. So I just put in these ferrules on the end, bootlace ferrules. But on these ones, you've got sort of a plate that crimps it down, crimps the terminal down. So a spade terminal would fit better, but I don't have any, so just used a ring terminal. One of these, well, not this one, but I just chopped the bits out, so then I can slide it. I don't know if I can do it one-handed, but I might need to undo it a little bit more, but basically we'll just slide that into there, so we can get a nice good connection there. So I've done my neutral bond now, and that's there, and that is a 4mm and that's 2.5. so what I done to get over this cable difference was I put originally put this blue ferrule onto the 2.5 because that's what fits, and the grey ferrule onto the 4mm. But what I'd done was I put another grey ferrule over the blue ferrule and then clamped it down. So they're roughly the same size, so I know they're both going to be tight in that terminal. And I've gone into here, because on the diagram it says to join to this cable, which is the output from the inverter. And then on this side, it's behind there. So there is where it's supposed to be. And if you do use the contactor, I think it's a similar layout, just a different unit. So yeah, it'll be the same, just a different unit. So on the diagram, it shows jointing to this cable. The cable's not in yet, but it's basically the input to the inverter, and then which then is obviously RCD protected, and got the breaker there for that pole. So that cable will go into there, and then this is the electric hookup, which I can then plug into the house. So once this is all wired up, then I'll wire up this hookup, or I'll do it first because I'll have more room actually. If I push that back in, I'll wire that up, then I'll get this cable through here and wire it to this, and then we're ready to go. So this is all wired up now, even the inverter. So I did put this in once I knew where this was going. Previously in the video, I just put the cables in. So just put an earth block there, common earth block. And I have the earth cable, which is earth to the chassis. We have the earth for the inverter, and now I've earthed the AC system as well. So these two are earthed together by these cables, although I might run another earth down to this block because I still have another terminal. I just don't have any more of this cable left. I might have a look around, but it is earthed because it's just going to be extra safety to put another earth in from there to there, although it is earthed through these cables. And we also have our neutral to earth relay now, because you can get a reverse earth fault, I think. I haven't tested it, but I just was told that if you don't have this relay, that you'll get an earth reverse fault on the sockets. But by putting that relay in, you won't get no faults and your system is safe. Thank you for watching my video, and please hit that like button if you did like the video or you found it helpful, and please subscribe to the channel to follow the journey of this camper van.